Hello and welcome everybody into some Wednesday night racing action where the new school meets the old school here tonight for the Vigilante Racing League during their Olympic break. We're having a fantastic night full of racing in the old street stock cars here on this wonderful evening at the new and highly revamped and repaved Phoenix Raceway. It's a duel in the desert, a Coyote Canyon showdown here tonight. It's going to be some wonderful fun and some craziness as well on top of it all. We'll get down into the rules and the gist of it here coming on up, but let's get this party all started off with the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And welcome back. As always, we have to say a huge proud thank you to the sponsors of the VRL, such as GC Cruise Travel and Mr. Greg Klein. Give him a call at 918-906-5616 or shoot him an email or a message over on the Facebooks to go ahead and get your next vacation booked up and underway. As my slide flips on me there, because man, trying to plan a vacation is stressful, which it shouldn't be, because you should be getting ready to relax. But that is why you get a good guy like Greg Klein to handle all the details for you. He doesn't take a nickel or dime from you. He just saves you a whole bunch of money. So be sure to get relaxing quicker today with GC Cruise Travel, the official travel provider of AAA Broadcasting and the VRL. Big thank you as well to Blue Fox Properties and Mr. Dave Mayberry out there. Give him a call at 520-850-4189, based in the Tucson, Arizona area. But he can help you buy and sell your house, whether you're in Tucson or anywhere across the country, with his 18 years of experience navigating this crazy and wild industry. Man, it's something you do not want to do alone. Be sure to grab Mr. Dave Mayberry and a good quality realtor here today. Big thank you as well to D&D Race Graphics. Fantastic splash screens as well as amazing paint schemes each and every single day coming out of that garage by Mr. Ricky Wittenberg, doing a fantastic job. So be sure to help beautify your iRacing experience here today from D&D Race Graphics, as well as Southbound Real Estate with Mr. Ricky Wittenberg over there in the Tennessee area. So we got you covered coast to coast for all your home buying needs. Give him a call at 423-444-0454 and he will help you get you into that home of your dreams, because I can't say it enough. The housing market, I don't see it getting any not crazier. It's just going to get worse and worse. So be sure to get a good quality realtor like Southbound Real Estate and Ricky here today. As always, I am Alan Brown, and I am joined by me, myself, and I here tonight. Hopefully Mr. English is going to be able to join us here a little bit later on. He's dealing with a little bit of a family emergency, and Mr. Adam Turner's off on his walkabout up in the mountains of Colorado. So it is just me here this evening, and we will see how long my voice will last, as I'm sure these vigilante racing drivers are going to put on a fantabulous show. So let's just get right down to it, into the bread and butter here tonight, and just kind of walk us through the race here from Phoenix. Beautiful night race, beautiful weather, beautiful lights. Everything is looking a-okay down there in that aspect. Gonna have 150 laps, no cautions. We will have competition cautions at lap 50 and lap 100, so a couple 50 lap stints for these drivers. No damage either, so if you spin around, get into that outside wall, it'll all get fixed up automatically. Unlimited tires, fuel is set to 30%, so might see some green flag pit stops from that. And coming from Lori, there might be a twist in there as well. We'll just have to wait and see what she cooks up with in that old lab of hers. And other than that, should just be a fantastic time racing in these racing in these old street stock cars, looking to have a beautiful time. It's always good to see some form of a throwback here, and should be just an absolutely good time. And well, it's not quite true for the key to the race. Don't let your season turn into the cowboy scene, as we're off season here. But hey, don't let tonight's race turn into a country song or something like that, because I mean, we're out west. We're here to have a good time, which is what these drivers are aiming to do here tonight. So with that, qualifying finishing on up, which means we get to send it on down to tonight's starting grid, and starting us off up there in that number 1 position is going to be the 33 of Mr. Jazz Avant, with a great qualifying time to take pole. The 8 of Dylan Mad Max Bryan out there, looking to try to make a good race here tonight, starting in second. 81 Jonathan Osborne up there into third, with the 19 of Jack the Ripper Dixon beside him in fourth. Fifth will go to the 83 of Mr. Jason Gaines, looking to capitalize on a good qualifying time here. 7 of Timothy Pope as well, qualifying quite well up there in sixth. Seventh will go to the 14 of Dustin with a Y, Dustin Eaton, out there having a good run. 13 Andrew Player is going to start right beside his teammate of the Orangutangs. Got the 69 of the Milk Dud, Larry Dickerson, up inside this top 10, starting in ninth, with the 55 of Ricky Wittenberg, rounding out your field, starting top 10. Following that, it's going to be the 89 of Craig Goodenough, just outside that top 10 in 11th. Andrew Cawthon in the 10 machine, going to be starting here in 12th. 13th will go to the 23 of Canada's own Sean McDonald. He's going to have the 28 of the ever so sneaky George Rincon. Look forward to seeing George make a good run here tonight, starting there in 14th. 15th belongs to the 53 of Jeremiah Burke, with the 16 of Kyle Vaught starting there in 16th place. Good to see him back out here. 99 of America's driver Albert Anderson, starting here in the mid-pack in 17th. 92 of Greg Klein there as well, starting in 18th. 19th will go to the 085 of Canada's own Greg Dobson there in 19th, with the 77 of Jacob Young rounding out your field, starting at top 20. Following that, we're going to have the 4 of Dion Jones, the 01 of Kelly Keel in 21st and 22nd. 23rd going to the 42 of Darby Marriott. 434 of Kevin Hunt in the 24th position. 29 of Dave Mayberry, 25th. 26, the 74 of Zachary Hallinan. Dustin with an eye, Dustin Wade out there with a good, well, he qualified in, same thing with Joseph Canellis. They're going to round out your field, and as always, the ever so marvelous Miss Lori Vaught, your race controller here tonight. So we should be having a fantastic show here as we get everybody all looped back around. Pace car quickly coming back down onto pit road as we get ready to go to the green flag. As always, we thank you all for tuning in and watching and joining us out here as we get ready for some great action. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and And that really helps us out. And same thing if you hit that like button, if you enjoy any of the racing action, so we can continue to grow this amazing community. As here we go, green flag racing here from Phoenix right off the bat. Side by side, they go down and around the fake dog leg here. Oh, we already got carnage as we got the 13 and quite a few others going on around. These cars are slippery and they are slidey as the 33 of Jess Vaught tries to escape from the catastrophe here. You got the 81 Jonathan Osborne peeking his nose down on the inside here. He's got the 8 of Dylan Bryant right there beside him with the 83 of Jason Gaines not too far back. Almost trading a little bit of pain as the 83 goes around up here from the front, slipping and sliding, continuing here on lap number 1, going on to lap number 2 as everybody continuing to just absolutely have some problems out there. And meanwhile, the 81 and the 8 continuing to battle. The 8 is going to tuck into line behind the 81. It's all about getting back onto that throttle nice and smooth. Kelly Keel having a problem. 23 is Sean McDonald battling side by side with the 085 of Greg Dobson right now. Dobson down on the inside, hugging that yellow line. 23 is going to filter out of that position for the time being. Meanwhile, you got the 4 and the 28 going side by side. 28 making use of that big dog leg cutout to gain a little bit of extra time there and steal that position back away from the old school Mountain Dew paint scheme there for the 4 as everybody continues to try to shuffle out and about. Jess Vaught setting the fastest lap time of the race thus far, 31:29. Jack Dixon filtering his way on up into that 3rd position. Jonathan Osborne taking a little bit of a step back there as they continue to battle their way down and around into the next couple of corners. Some great racing action still going on in the midfield. You got the 10 and the 085 going side by side down there on the apron. You can even see Dave, the whatever nickname he chooses here tonight, having a good run down on that inside lane, trying to rip and slide his way up a couple of positions. 77 to Jacob Young going to battle with the Dustin with an eye, Dustin Wade machine, battling side by side. Joseph Canella, Zachary Hallinan also going side by side, almost going 3 wide down into the dog leg as, Andrew Player having more and more issues. He gets nosed up into the outside wall. Let's go ahead and see what happened here. A little bit of a, looks like it may be a self-spin as he finds his way slipping and sliding out there. There's slow traffic, the 42 down across the racetrack, causing a little bit of a problem there for the 13 of Player, but he does eventually get back up and rolling. Meanwhile, the 8 of Dylan Bryant not letting the 33 of Jess Vaught go up here, up at the front as the 19 of Jack Dixon faces a challenge from the 81 of Jonathan Osborne. Side by side, they go behind the 2 leader contenders right now, just up in front of them. As the 19 gets tangled up with the 81 and they both go for a ride down into the inside wall. Just some big old bare knuckle racing out there tonight. Drivers not getting a whole heck of a lot of room out there to really try to make some passes, so it's going to be very tight squeezes, and that is what we get. We see cars getting all tangled on up like they've got magnets locked in to their bumpers. For Dion Jones locked into some good battles right now. He is trying to make that Mountain Dew as wide and narrow at the same time as possible, as the 68 makes a good dive down to the inside as the 8 of Dylan Bryant manages to slip and slide his way just out in front of the 33, but they're going to be locked in side by side coming back down and around turns 1 and 2. 8 getting a little slidey there, but able to get the power back down to remain side by side with the 33 machine out battling for this lead. Happy to have everybody out there in the chat. Albert Anderson, Papa Anderson out there. Glad to have you back. Also glad to hear that you're feeling better here tonight as well. Of course, Miss Lori out there in the chat. Taylor Provax cheering on her Team Vaught drivers out there. Beverly Anderson as well. Mama joining the chat. Also glad to have you. And Osvaldo, he's seeing what WhatsApp got today. He's cheering on for the 16 with Rhett Arnell cheering on Team Good Enough. Good Enough started off pretty good, but then quickly dropped back 13 spots right now, back into 24th. Albert Anderson as well, moving up up 13 spots into the top 5 as he was able to get free and clear of some of the carnage. He's just kind of got that plain black and a white car here tonight, just keeping it old school. Doesn't need a flashy paint job to try to pick up the race win as Jess Vaught regains control of the lead of this race. Meanwhile, a good battle here with the 55 and the 69 going at it side by side in turn number 4. Everybody doing a good job there, keeping their space and trying their best as, oh, the 77 of the mustached man himself, Jacob Young, hard down into that inside wall before crossing that start finish line. Again, no damage here tonight, so whatever bits and pieces you see flying off these cars here are going to be regenerated back on, and they won't have to come on down for any repairs as the 8 just slides his way up right in front of the 7 of Timothy Pope, shutting that door on whatever run Pope had coming for him as they remain locked into a good 1-2-3 battle here up at the front. Jason Gaines in the 83 machine making some good passes here on the outside. He's trying to battle with the 74 of Zachary Hallinan as he gets a pretty good run in and around the 74. Oh, stepping out that back end goes the 74, but it's going to make him pretty quick here. They always say a loose race car is a fast race car, and the 74 is proving it there. Able to just keep up with the 83 for a little bit before the 83 eventually getting that position. Meanwhile, back up here up at the front, the 8 machine willing to take another charge here at the 33, looking down low. You got the 7 of Timothy Pope just kind of playing in the catbird seat there, just watching this battle unfold as they go battling side by side. As the 8 machine, oh, he starts going around, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time and a little bit of run as the 33 gets that front bumper and back bumper clear of the 8 machine here as well again, and that's going to leave the 7 to deal with the 8 to try to steal that second position away. Lori's saying, man, it's nice not having to keep up with all these cautions or any of these penalties or nothing. It's just a good old game of iRacing and just go out there and race. And from what I heard from last week, all the drivers were so happy and so just having so much fun with the Legends cars that they continue to do that there on Monday night. And keeping it old school again here tonight is the 29 of Dave Mayberry battling with the 16 of young Kyle Vaught. I know the bookies are keeping track as the 16 lets the 29 slide across that front bumper. They stay locked in here as the 16 kind of backs of it to allow the 29 to save it a little bit there, which in fact he does a great save from Mayberry as the 16 not scared to use that fake chrome horn on the front of these cars here tonight. Love the old style of these old school racers. It definitely brings back some good black and white footage memories that I used to watch on YouTube all the time, as the 68 of Dustin Wade and the 23 of Sean McDonald having a good little battle back here, as Timothy Pope still battling side by side with that 8 of Dylan Bryant. Not super overpowered, these cars, as they trade a little paint between the 7 and the 8. Everybody just continuing to fight and shuffle and jive for position. Oh, it's the 69 and the 55 finally making contact. They have been side by side for quite a while, and eventually 69 into 55 getting all tangled on up. They were able to thankfully save it. A good comeback around there for the 55. Unfortunately, he is going to lose another position to the 10 of Andrew Cawthon for the time being, and I'm sure those tires are not happy with the 55. Probably need to let those cool down just a little bit as the 7 and the 8 continue to battle side by side up here, up at the front. Already 18 laps into this 150 lap race. Again, we're going to have some competition yellows coming out right at lap 50 and lap 100. So hopefully these drivers can make it that long here tonight. As side-by-side battles continue to boil on. The 89 looks like he's missing a few bits and pieces of that machine. I guess it just hasn't, iRacing hasn't quite caught up to him just yet there to fix that front bumper as they continue to battle side-by-side there a little bit with the 89 Craig Goodenough and the 77 there. There it goes, finally getting, oh no. Eventually, hopefully the 89 gets that front clip back. It's probably the coolest running machine out there here this evening, as the 89, or excuse me, the 92 of Greg Klein starting to climb up this leaderboard, catching on up to the 55 of Ricky Wittenberg. Tires probably starting to feel something a little fierce out here. These drivers pushing the machines as far as they can, man, and still tied on up in that side-by-side battle goes the 8 and the 7 there. The 8 just getting a little sideways, that back end stepping out on them here, and almost gets up into the 7, but they were able to keep it off each other and remain battling side by side. Dave Mayberry continuing a charge up through the field, up 11 spots on the day already, catching up to the 68 of Dustin Wade and the 16 of Kyle Vaught here again, as the 11 of Joseph Canellis kind of watches from the a little bit behind him here. Couple drivers lap down. Dustin with a wide. Dustin Eaton getting caught up in that first lap kind of shenanigans. Jonathan Osborne, Dion Jones, Darby Marrioth, and Sean McDonald all laps down. Looks like Sean McDonald may be calling it an early night. Hopefully it's not interweb issues and he's able to rejoin the track out there. George Rincon in the 28 machine, as always, got to be careful with George. Already up 7 spots to jump into 7th here. He's got the 55 of Wittenberg and the 10 of Cawthon hounding his back bumper as he tries to catch back up to the 92 of Klein up there. As the 7 and the 8 seem to have separated for the time being. That's allowing the 7 to try to make a good charge here at the 33 of Vaught, who's now having to deal a little bit with some lap traffic coming on up here in front of him. So they continue to battle out there here from Phoenix tonight. Again, we thank you all for tuning in and watching. Pop Anderson loving those old school paint jobs out there here tonight. And yes, we are indeed absolutely loving it. Again, I'm not a racing aficionado, so I can't tell you what driver is racing what scheme. Oh, it's the 42 loses it right in front of the leaders. Oh no, that's going to tag the 7 of Timothy Pope and give him a big slowdown, allowing the 99 of Anderson to slip his way on up onto that 3rd place spot. Pope still feeling the after effects of that little bit of a slip and slide that Marrioth went for, but trying to get back up into the rhythm. That's given the 33 and the 8 just a little bit of extra breathing room out there, as the 085 of Greg Dobson having a good run right now, trying to get that car down and around safely this dangerous track here in the desert. He's got the 81, whole bunch of lap traffic. Man, this is going to be a beehive of activity here as the 7 of Timothy Pope feeling some of these after effects out there. '68 of Dustin with an eye. Dustin Wade there as well, following the 81 of Jonathan Osborne, trying to filter through some of this crazy traffic that's going on here. Dobson separating the young Vaught and Uncle Dave Mayberry out there, as Dave catches the rear, and catches it just in time before slipping his way on down into the inside wall. Red Hartnell saying if there was ever a race to unleash the triple aught, tonight was the time. Hey, you know, the triple aught of Lori Vaught, she's being kind to the drivers out there. She would be whipping these young whippersnappers and putting them in their place. I think also we might see that 33 end up in the wall a time or two, depending on the mood that Miss Lori is feeling out there. 83 Jason Gaines making up a couple spots there. As the 085 of Dobson makes his way on down into pit road, as everybody continues to make way and make tracks. 8 machine still not giving up that back bumper of the 33 of Jess Vaught. 01 Kelly Keel out there trying to go for a good battle here with the 434 of Kevin Hunt just in front of the leaders. Oh, drifting up the track and trading a little bit of paint. That goes the 01 and the 434. 01 just doing a little bit of leaning, a little bit of rubbing, is racing out there to steal that position away, and he's going to be able to make up a whole bunch of time because of it. As we still got some good side-by-side here with Wade and Young Vaught. Both drivers doing a pretty good job keeping it tame right now, keeping it off each other, but they are feeling some pressure from that 29 of Mayberry just jumping up in right behind the back bumper there of the 68 Bud machine. They go racing down and around here. Lap 30 now officially underway. 20 laps until we see that stage break. Probably going to see some pit stops and topping up on fuel, maybe taking some tires here in just a little bit. Been a fantastic show throughout this entire field, especially here in the mid-pack, but we've seen some fantastic racing up at the front and kind of towards the tail end as well. So hopefully these drivers stick with it here tonight, because it's been very entertaining to watch indeed. As the 92 of Greg Klein trying to continue a good little charge here that he's got going on. Everybody kind of doing a little bit of a shuffle and a little bit of a jive. 77 of the mustached man himself feeling a little bit of pressure from behind him here. As you can see the 53 going around the outside of the 77, or at least tried to. 53 machine of Jeremiah Burke trying to filter his way back around and move up a couple of spots there. A little bit of a rough start. One of the Arizona natives, so this would be his home track. Can see even some black strips there on the inside, maybe some old tire rubs there. I see kind of jukes from the outside back down to the inside, now going side by side with the 77. Not for position 53, a lap down compared to the 77, so not quite yet for position, but they're battling at least for a little bit of track position out there. Ricky Wittenberg having a pretty good run right now, as well as Dion Jones having an issue in the Mountain Dew machine. Let's go ahead and rewind back and see what kind of happened here. Getting tangled up. Oh, looked like the 01 might have been trying to slow down to come down into the pits, and the 4 may not have heard that message and ends up getting into the back of him there. Oh, and then just even more carnage. 29 getting involved. Oh, and oh my goodness, yeah. And then the 4 missing the wheel. So I guess, I don't know if maybe one of these cars didn't get checked or something, but hopefully they at least have the unlimited fast repairs. .33 of GS Vaught enjoying a little bit of a comfortable lead right now. Got a little cushion of just over a second over the 8 of Dylan Bryant. 28 of George Rincon battling with his old buddy there in the 55, Ricky Wittenberg. Those two have been known to go at it back and forth quite a few times throughout the multiple seasons here in the VRL, as the 33 of GS Vaught and the 8 make their way on down. So we're seeing some green flag pit stops here before our competition yellow. We'll keep track of everybody's pit times here and see whether it's splash and goes or whatever. George Rincon's going to inherit the lead while quite a few of these drivers make their way on down into pits. As George now makes his way on down and in. 434 Kevin Hunt electing to stay on out at least one more time as he's going side by side. Again, not for position, trying to put that Bob Ross machine out in front of just about everybody else. Does that mean Bob Ross will officially finish before Kevin Hunt, considering his face is all the way up there, up at the very front? I don't know, but he will eventually find his way on down into the pit road, as well as these green flag pit cycle continues to move on about. Looks like some pretty good full stops for pretty much everybody. And they're not your quickie, 15, 14, 13-second stops either. We're talking 25 at a minimum is what I'm seeing out there. Jack Dixon with one of the fastest at 21:57. Don't even know if he got any damage fixed or anything like that. Just fuel and tires to get back out there on the racetrack as the 14 machine's going to lead some laps here. Dustin with a wide 53. Oh, Jeremiah Burke. It's going to be about 3 seconds behind him here. Eaton did come down lap number 2 after that first lap wreck, but he's going to look to try to hang on to it as long as possible, at least try to get to that stage break. Meanwhile, the 99 of America's driver, Albert Anderson, battling with the 92 of Greg Klein after their green flag pit stops out there. Looks like for the time being, the 99 of Anderson will hold on to that spot. Jacob Young going into a battle with the 29 of Mayberry as Dylan Bryant sets the fastest lap of the race, a 31:15. Absolutely blistering out there, trying to burn that rubber all the way down. We're about 12 laps away from our first caution of the evening. Everyone continuing to battle and race their way around here from Phoenix tonight. And seeing some good racing action here. 28 of George Rincon trying to hold off the 99 now, as Anderson coming at him with a pretty good run of speed. Eaton now down into the pits for his green flag pit stops here, or at least the quote-unquote scheduled green flag pit stop is what I should say. Oh, as the 99 gets tangled up with the 28. Oh, goodness. And the 55 of Wittenberg getting kind of caught up in it as well. Oh no, that's going to cost those couple of drivers quite a bit of time and quite a bit of action out there. And they're still going to stay locked up side by side as they rejoin the racetrack. Oh boy, I'm sure there's some hand gesturings going on out those window nettings of these old street stock cars out there, as man, Bryant just continuing with some of that open track now, able to set fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. He is hot lapping out there, trying to catch back on up to the front of this field, which is currently being held by that 53. 74 of Zachary Hallinan facing a little bit of some pressure right now. He's got the 68 of Dustin with an eye. Dustin Wade out there with a pretty good run right now. He's going side by side with the 42 of Marriott, as we can go ahead and take a ride here with the 68 machine to kind of see what he's dealing with. Oh man, you can just see how violent and how much shaking he's got going on there whenever they make that transition in those dogleg corners and drop below that yellow line. Definitely something that's you got to be careful with, especially in these cars that like to get loose in a hurry. With that Bud machine looking very, very clean right now, and trying to make up some good time. Jack Dixon, Greg Dobson making up your top 5 as well up there. Dylan Bryant, Joe Canellis, and Jess Vaught inside this top 10 with Jonathan Osborne and Larry Dickerson. Osborne trying to catch up to that 33 machine of Jess Vaught. They started up very close to each other here at the start of this thing, and now they're kind of rejoined in some of this action after all the green flag pit stops and all the mayhem. Even 8 of Dylan Bryant trying to get away from the 085 of Dobson and the 11 of Canellis here. It's like he will be able to do so for the time being. Meanwhile, the 11 machine goes way down low to try to get that little bit of extra speed, and he does on the 085 to steal that position away for the time being. 77 of Jacob Young and the 29 of Dave Mayberry find themselves together once again out there on the racetrack. Dave trying to figure out a way to get around that hockey sticked machine of Jacob Young. Albert Anderson and George Rincon continuing their battle, though not quite side by side. They do have Craig Goodenough trying to sneak up from behind him here in that 89 machine to pick up another couple extra spots. 7 Timothy Pope still struggling out there trying to recover after his incident that he was involved in. Again, we still have 27 drivers left remaining here out on the racetrack. Our only disconnection thus far, the 23 of Sean McDonald. Again, hopefully he will be able to eventually rejoin the racetrack, at least to have a little bit of fun here this evening. As the 74 of Hallinan getting a little bit of pressure right now from Jack Dixon. He's got Dustin Wade up the road in front of him here a little bit, but Dixon, a real-life driver here for some of these shorter oval tracks, trying to put some of that expertise to use here, and he gets that nose down and in underneath the 74 machine to steal that position away down and around turn number 4 before heading on into the dog leg. Oh man, that transition just so ever bumpy. But they were in fact able to hang on to it, and nothing really stepped out on them there, as the 13 of Andrew Player might be having some connection issues out there tonight, as well as looks like he's going to be sent back to pit road. Only a couple laps left to go before our stage break here tonight. Jeremiah Burke with a monstrous 7.5 second lead over the 68 of Dustin with an eye. Dustin Wade, of course, he's not gonna be too thrilled that the competition yellow is gonna come out, but that just means we're gonna stack it back up and see some more fantastic racing here this evening, as Goodenough and Recon continue to battle side by side. I love that lime green. Of course, I'm partial to the lime green machines out here in the VRL. 89 of Goodenough for Menards there, looking very, very nice. He's going to have that 28 of George Recon right there on his backside. 99 of Anderson just up in front of him, as that 33 of Jess Fought continuing to try to hold off that 81 of Jonathan Osborne up inside this top 10. Meanwhile, the 53 of Jeremiah Burke, is Darby Marriott having another issue there. Comes across the start-finish line, and that will be stage number 1 in the books. Burke, Wade, and Dixon make up your top 3. Hallinan, Bryant, Canellis, Dobson, Vaught, Osborne, and Dickerson will all finish up inside that top 10. Again, just really no points or nothing like that. Just giving some shout outs to some of those drivers out there. Looks like Andrew Player was able to jump back to back into the session here, so happy to have him back out there. Just before the yellow, we did see Darby Marriott have a little bit of an issue here right in front of the 74. Getting loose, and yeah, there it goes, and just snaps back to attention there across that front straightaway. Oh my goodness, that is some heavy damage indeed. So everything gets all checked up behind the pace car here, as drivers making their way on down and around and into pit road to pop up on fuel, get some fresh tires, and get ready to do it all over again. Yeah, Papa Anderson just giving words of encouragement, saying that's all right. Just fight your way back there, son. And cheer it on, of course, the 99 of America's Driver. 28 of George Recon missing his pit box there. Having to throw it in reverse, Terry, for a quick second. Loving it. Joseph Canellis is going to end up gathering up the race lead here, electing to not come on down into the pits. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate it very much. Don't worry, I've got about 7 water bottles all lined up here, just to make sure everything stays a-okay, as Canellis and Klein make their way on down here late into pit road. Looks like Gaines, Kyle Vaught, and Dave Mayberry diving on down late here as well, so that's going to give the lead up to the mustached man, the 77 of Jacob Young. Larry Dickerson out there, as well as Albert Anderson. It is a strange flying solo. I'm used to having at least a co-pilot out here. Again, Mr. Turner is out on his walkabout journey up in the mountains of Colorado. Hope he's having a wonderful time looking up at those beautiful night skies out there. I know Here on the East Coast, the weather's kind of yucky, but I think over there he should be having a wonderful time out there. And then, unfortunately, Mr. English had a family emergency pop up here earlier today that he's been dealing with, and hopefully he will be able to join us here in the later stages. But nonetheless, the show will go on, and we get ourselves ready back up in action here as the lights on the pace car prepare to turn off, and we get ready to go to green flag racing here once again, as man, it's just gonna be another exciting restart. Yes, indeed. The lights on the pace car turn off. It's going to be Dickerson, Bryant, Jess Vaught, Greg Dobson, Jeremiah Burke, Dustin Wade, Jack Dixon, Hallinan, Cawthon, and Osborne making up your top 10 as everyone lines back up side by side. I know some late pacing going on here. Drivers trying to catch back on up as the pace car makes the dive on down into pit road. Again, not quite used to the new pit stop or the new track layout here is well, I guess we're going green here early as the 8 and the 69 get off to a hot and bothered start. You got the 68 of Dustin with the eye out there stuck 3 wide between the 53 and the 74, going to battle side by side down and around turns 1 and 2. The 53 finally able to get that nose free and clear. That's going to leave the 68 and the 74 alone to have their own little battle out there. 19 of Jack Dixon, 81 of Jonathan Osborne as well, trying to get their nose into some of this action here. Battle for some of these positions. 83 of Jason Gaines having a pretty good run right now, trying to slip and slide his way down on the bottom line. Oh, Dion Jones having an issue out there, does quickly tow to not interfere with any traffic as the 16 and the 77 go battling side by side out there as more and more side by side. Oh, almost some right side romance between the 74 and the 19 machine. Hallinan and Dixon. Oh, as the 74's back end starts to step out just a little bit, that's just going to turn him in a little extra early for that dog leg. It's not going to cost him too much time there, but we'll eventually catch on up to him as the 89 of Craig Goodenough. I know there's some people out there cheering on the 89 machine here tonight. Going to battle here side by side with the 16. They got the 14 of Dustin with a Y out there just in front of them. Only a couple of drivers stuck the 1 lap down. Looks like Dion Jones gonna call it an evening here tonight as the 13 Andrew Player tries to make up as many laps as possible. 42 of Darby Marriott finds his way on down into the pits as the 8 machine of Dylan Bryant gets some free and open space, trying to run away from his teammate there in the 69 of Dickerson. 53 of Jeremiah Burke as well in chase. 83 of Jason Gaines going to battle side by side with the 74 of Hallinan. 33 of Jess Vaught just waiting for an opportunity and an opening to get through some of this traffic here to jump back up towards the front of this pack out there. 11 of Joseph Canellis having a great battle with Dave Mabry right now, as well as the side-by-side action here up at the front continues. Some absolutely exciting and high-action flying racing going on here tonight. Well, we see some of the action perspective from some of these drivers. Let's go ahead and jump on up in the roll bar here with the coolest driver out there, Kelly Keel, up there with his driver camera on up tonight as well, with a beautiful over-the-shoulder perspective as he passes by that neon cactus here. Absolutely love that addition to the racetrack. And makes it just kind of separate itself just a little bit, although the interesting design of the track itself was already enough to separate it from any other racetracks out there on the circuit. Of course, this 1 mile racetrack racing completely different from basically anything else on the circuit. I mean, closest you could probably call it with maybe Pocono, but that's not even that close, as they continue to go to a battle here, trying to catch up to that 77 of Jacob Young, and you can listen to that big old engine roar. As 01 continues to try to chase down that 77. 434, Kevin Hunt having a good battle right now with the 7 of Timothy Pope. Tim trying to fight his way back up through the field, and does so by picking and bobbing and weaving his way past the Bob Ross car. 14 of Dustin with a Y, going 3 wide here with the 89 stuck in the middle. And Greg Dobson there up to the outside lane. It's going to separate for the time being as the KFC machine trying to be finger looking good here tonight as they go battling side by side into turn number 4. 89 coming down across the front bumper of his fellow orangutan team member there. Oh, it's the 11 of Joseph Canellis getting a little snug out there and losing quite a few spots. 29 of Dave Mayberry able to find some grip and get around the 11 machine. It's like the 68 of Dustin with an eye early into the pits here. Oh, looks like he had to jump to the pits. Oh no, that's not good. That's something we don't normally want to see, as the 55 of Wittenberg down there on the bottom side battling with that 28 of George Rincon. We saw them have a fantastic battle here in that first stage, and they're just going to pick up right where they left off here, going side by side right in front of the 16 of Kyle Vaught. And Kyle's just seeing the battle happening in front of him. He's like, I'm going to sneak my nose down in here, go way deep down into that dog leg before going into turn number 1. A little hot, almost making contact with the 55. A great avoidance maneuver by Wittenberg to jump up to that outside lane. He's going to lose a little bit of speed, but he ends up preventing an incident from occurring because of that. So good heads-up driving there for the 55. 28 of Rincon down there on the bottom, continuing to have a good battle, though, with Ricky while all that is going on. 14 and the 89 continue to battle side by side right behind the 92 of Greg Klein. Meanwhile, 69 of Larry Dickerson trying to hold off that 53 of Jeremiah Burke up here up towards the front with the 8 of Dylan Bryant still holding on to that race lead. 33 of Jess Vaught tucked in behind the 19 of Jack Dixon. 83 of Jason Gaines out there as well, trying to pick up a couple extra spots here and sneak inside of that top 5. Looks like Dustin with an eye. Dustin Wade putting it up on the hauler, at least for the time being. Hopefully he's able to rejoin the racetrack at some point. Darby Marriott still out there running. Same thing with the 13 of Andrew Player. 99 of America's driver Albert Anderson back here in 23rd right now. Has a whole bunch of work up ahead of him to try to make up a few extra spots. Your hard charger of the race thus far is the 74 of Zachary Hallinan, who's currently on that back bumper, like of the 10 machine of Andrew Cawthon, up 17 for the 74. Some other honorable mentions: Jeremiah Burke up 12. And Joseph Canellis up 13 with Dave Mayberry up 11. So definitely have some big movers and shakers out there. So everyone continues to try to get whatever positions that they can, as the 19 and the 33 are going side by side down through the dogleg and into turn number 1. Oh, Kevin Hunt having a little bit of an issue down there. He's all spun about trying to get facing back the correct direction and get out of traffic at the same time. He's down there on the back straightaway. Let's go ahead and kind of see what happened here with the 434. I think it's just going to be a self spin. Yeah, and oh, great avoidance from the barrels. Oh, but slam some of the traffic up high on him there. Oh goodness, that's Darby Marriott. Oh, we're going to need to get the ambulance out for that one. That was heavy contact. Eventually Hunt able to get back facing the right direction, as that definitely caused some carnage down there on the backstretch. So racing action continues to trundle on along. Got the 83 of Jason Gaines and the 81 of Jonathan Osborne going at it side by side, right behind the 33 and the 19. Bryant still has Dickerson all over that back bumper with a Jeremiah Burke in tow, and then you got that little bit of a gap here for Vaught, Dixon, and Osborne. All these drivers all clumped up together here as the 83 getting a little bit of extra space here on the 81 as Osborne sneaks up towards that outside wall. This is also allowing the 10 Andrew Cawthon and 74 Zachary Hallinan to close in just a little bit as they almost make a little bit of contact out there. Ooh, goodness gracious. 74 almost getting a little bit of red paint on that blue racing machine here tonight. 085 Greg Dobson, our Canadian brother up there towards the north, having a pretty good night as he's now just inside that top 15, looking to try to sneak back up into the top 10. He's going side by side with the 29 of Dave Mayberry right now. As always, the 085 staying calm, cool, and collected. I was out there having a good time, whether he's doing well or not doing so hot tonight. The 085 doing quite well as looks like the 69 of Dickerson coming on down into pit lane. Some green flag pit stops up and underway as the 29 and the 085. Oh, 29 slipping and sliding through some traffic here, able to find a hole between the 11 and the 085 to get it back under control. Looks like more pit stops underway. 53 of Jeremiah Burke, 33 of Jess Vaught, 81 Jonathan Osborne making their dives on down into pit road as we go side by side here with the 10 of Cawthon and the 74. Oh, 74's back end. Oh, hang on to it. Oh, it's so close, and he is. Great save there from Helen. It's going to cost him a couple spots, but he did, in fact, not wreck the race car, which is a task number one. As the 89 of Craig Goodenough tries to get around him here on the outside lane. Eaton and Cawthon both able to sneak on by. Dixon and Hallinan now coming on down into pit road as the side-by-side action continues on here with the 10 and the 14. We got Kathy and Edith joining us here tonight, cheering on the Albert Anderson Racing team. Glad to have you guys out here tonight. Always happy to see the full Anderson team in America's Driver Corner here. As things start to spread back on out, just under 25 laps until the next stage break here. Drivers have been going at it for quite a while. 29 of Mayberry all over that back bumper. I wonder if he's going to try to maybe do a little bit of payback to the 16 as the 16 used that chrome horn. No, he's just going to dive way down and in on turn number one, trying to make it stick before sliding back up the racetrack, almost getting into the 16, probably putting the fear in the young man's eyes. Definitely a battle we're going to have to watch out for indeed, as looks like the 01 of Kelly Keel continuing to put in some good runs and some good laps. Just there on the outs. No, that's not Kelly. Oh, that's the 11 who's the ones look very close together there to form a singular one, but that's Joseph Canellis there inside of that action. Separating for the time being, Mayberry and Kyle Vaught. 14 of Dustin with the Y still going to panel with his teammate there. The 89 of Craig Goodenough. Just goes to show you that when teammates don't really matter, man, they're just going to race each other hard and race each other clean as the 14 hangs on up there, all the way up there in third at the time being. As still waiting on a good chunk of this field to come on in for their next round of green flag pit stops. Probably getting fairly close anyway. Dylan Bryant still leading the way as drivers make their way down and around pit road to get whatever done that they need to get done, as the Tanner Cawthon and Greg Dobson find each other back out there on the racetrack to go have a little bit more fun battling side by side. Looks like Tim Pope, Greg Klein, George Rincon all coming on down and into pit road. Joseph Canellis having a pretty good run right now, as well as he's sneaking up. Oh, it's 3 wide. Oh, big contact. 0-1 going on around. 11 of Canellis is going to get away scot-free, as the 16 does as well. 29 of Dave Mayberry avoids most of the catastrophe, but gets slowed down just a little bit. 0-1 Kelly Kildo. That incident is going to cost him quite a bit of time. It was a tight squeeze already, being 3 wide. Any more traffic getting tucked up in there is just asking for disaster. And eventually that is what we got. Nose to tail go the 89 of a Good Enough and Eaton. Down and around turns 1 and 2, just under 20, approaching 15 laps left to go here in this stage. Dobson, Klein, and Cawthon all teaming back on up together here. Albert Anderson getting around Kyle Vaught, who's down into the pits. Same thing with the 29 of Mayberry, getting their next round of green flag pit stops done and underway. It's like Dustin Eaton losing a little bit of time here, but was able to hang out in front of the 89. Everybody else kind of spaced out for the time being. Just kind of in that in-between phase here, especially on this nice long green flag run. Again, not having any cautions here tonight definitely helps that. But we will see everybody group back up together here eventually at some point. Dylan Bryant out there with a 4.5 second lead over the 83 of Jason Gaines, who's got a 2 second lead over the 14 of Eaton and Good Enough, as here comes the leader. Dylan Bryant down onto pit road. Jason Gaines electing to stay on out, so he's going to get at least a lap led here tonight. The field continues their shuffle and bustle out there. Dickerson and Pope find each other back out onto the racetrack as they're nose to tail a little bit here. The 7 of Timothy Pope still trying to come back from his earlier incident, and he's definitely been struggling a little bit making up those spots. But he is definitely trying his best and getting those tires down as close to that apron line as possible in turn number 4 before hitting that transition. Man, that is such a firm transition change down there in the dogleg. Got to be careful. We continue to run here tonight. Dave Mayberry finds himself right behind the 55 of Ricky Wittenberg. He's going to get the nose up and under the 55 there in turn number 4 and down into the dogleg before rejoining the racetrack. Oh, almost coming up a little too high there, but a good snag and collect from both drivers there, from the 55 and that 29. Going side by side here with the 7 and the 69 as they deal with some traffic coming out of the pits to rejoin the racetrack. Craig Goodenough now down into pit road here, still being led by Jason Gaines, Dustin Eaton, and Albert Anderson. They are still not quite a, well, they are a full lap, but not quite a full lap ahead of that 53 of Jeremiah Burke, who's looking very, very fast here tonight as the 69 and the 7 continue to trade positions back and forth, back and forth. Neither driver want to give up any of the positions that they got right now, trying to chase down the 28 of George Rincon at the same time. 99 of Anderson coming on down into pit road. And it looks like Gaines Eaton will follow him here, and that will complete your pit cycle here under the green flag positions. And we're going to have about 10 laps left to go We'll have to see where everybody comes on out and where everything kind of staggers here as the 10 and the 085 continue a good battle going side by side as Cawthon and Dobson eventually, both drivers almost sliding up into that outside wall. In fact, a couple drivers behind them did. Looked like that might have been the 7 of Timothy Pope getting a piece of that outside wall. Ricky going back to battle here with the 29 of Dave Mayberry to steal that position back away. Able to get the pass made and get that car back on to the racing line as the 83 of Gaines back out onto the racetrack, and he's got about 5 seconds right now, but it is closing in from Jeremiah Burke and Jess Vaught trying to get that 83 machine back up to speed. A fantastic pit stop indeed, not wasting any time. Ooh, man, I don't know if he took tires, because that was a 16-second stop compared to the average of right around the 28-29 for the drivers that didn't have to get to any damage fixed or anything like that. But looks like he will be able to get back up to speed here, at least quick enough to hang on for a just under 4.5 second lead over Jeremiah Burke. As we got 9 laps to go before our final stage break of the evening. You got the 28 of George Rincon, Timothy Pope, Dylan Bryant, and Larry Dickerson all jumbled on up here together. Goodness gracious. Dylan Bryant with a very exaggerated pit time there, losing quite a few positions down onto pit road. Hopefully he's going to be able to make up some of those spots here later on throughout the final run of this race here. So we can take a look at the back bumper here of the 10 at Andrew Cawthon. You can see the hungry drivers sitting right there behind him. And very interesting nose-shaped vehicles here tonight. I didn't realize that iRacing had actually added multiple different models of the old street stock style of car. So happy to see that they've got multiple different models out there to signify the different makes and all of that. Doing a good job of keeping pace and staying out in front of the 085 and the 7 and the 8 and the 69 and the 28, all tucked into a little bit of a line out there. Jack Dixon still trying to stay out in front of the 81 Jonathan Osborne, 14 of Dustin with a Y, not too far behind him, but they got some traffic with some fresh tires coming up on them right now. 55 of Wittenberg and the 29 of Mayberry continuing to go at it here. They go battling side by side. 29 getting all slippery and slidey up in those marbles. We got quite a bit of access rubber laid out up on top of these turns. Got to be careful. That definitely could cause some issues for some of these drivers. I'll say 81 Jonathan Osborne kind of stuck up in this mix right now. Again, not quite battling for position, the 81 and the 55, but Osborne trying to catch up to that 19 of Jack Dixon, who's just up the road in front of him here to get up into that 4th place position. Other than that, not a heck of a lot going on. You got the 10-7 and the 8 still having a pretty good battle here with 4 laps left to go before the next caution. Jason Gaines continuing to hold and extend a little bit. Leads now almost up to 5 seconds over that 53 of Jeremiah Burke up there, up in front. Oh, and the 10 makes contact with the 77. 77 goes around. Oh, no, that's going to cause some issues there for quite a few drivers. 085 of Greg Dobson, one of them, ends up getting a good piece of that action. Oh, goodness. Gotta watch out where those square body panels all get lined on up And that is what happened there with the 77, excuse me, getting all tangled on up and together. As Andrew Cawthon still having a couple of issues out there. He's stuck up into the outside wall. Looks like he's gonna let some traffic try to sneak on around him down on the bottom side. I wonder if he's having some mechanical issues, and it looks like he is. He's gonna have to tow and get his way back down into pit road, as the 53 of Jeremiah Burke just kind of in cruise control right now, hanging on to that second spot. Just Vaught not too far behind him, just under a second and a half. Meanwhile, Jonathan Osborne getting under attack here, is trading a little bit of paint. Goes the 19 and the 81. The 19 giving him the business as they make their way down and around turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway now. Oh man. Tough cookies there for the 81 of Jonathan Osborne. Able to hang on to it, but man, he got all of everything used on up as the yellow flag waves, and there it is, your next stage break, led by the 83 of Jason Gaines. 53, Jeremiah Burke, Jess Vaught, Jack Dixon, Eaton, Osborne, Canellis, Klein, Bryant, and Pope will make up your top 10. So here we go. It's going to be final yellow flag pit stops, and we get everybody eventually all re-racked and stacked back on up. Of course, some wave arounds going around as well. Pit lane opening up to some of these lead lap drivers here. Gaines, Burke, Vaught. I'm going to imagine probably everybody coming on down and in, either at least topping up on fuel, but I'm sure there's going to be some tires being taken here as well. Have to wait and see how everything plays on out here from the for the end of this race. Looks like Kyle Vaught electing to stay on out. Same thing with Ricky Wittenberg, Kelly Keel, Dave Mayberry. I think they were all getting some laps back there, so they're now back up onto the lead lap. Albert Anderson as well. Looks like he's going to be staying out. Yep, and of course, as I say that, here they come on down into pit road here to top up on fuel and whatever have you. Wittenberg and Keel, as well as Mayberry, and as well as Anderson, to make their way on down onto pit road. Jeremiah Burke will lead the way coming off of pit road here. Joseph Canellis, Dylan Bryant, and Jess Vaught not going to be too far behind them here as they try to catch back up to the pace car. Which, in fact, they will. So it's going to be about 45 laps or so for a final race race stint here for these drivers. Everybody having a great time and doing a great job as well, keeping control of these mighty street stocks. I'll get everybody back kind of under gun here and ready to rumble. Just a quick real life Olympic Games update. The USA in the lead with 94 medals in total, 27 golds, 35 silvers, with 32 bronze over China right now, who's got 25 gold, 23 silver, and 17 bronze for 65 total medals. Good showing from Australia, France, Great Britain, and Korea, all up inside that top 6. As the lights on the pace car turn off, and that means we get ready to rumble here once again. Pace car down and in as the the 53 of Jeremiah Burke. Looks like he's going to be leading the field here, with the 11 of Joseph Canellis down to, or out to his outside, I should say, as the 8 makes the dive on down to the bottom of the racetrack, going for a good battle here, side by side, down and across the line. Green flag racing here in the final stint. The 53 and the 8 going at it side by side. This is effectively, I think, your battle for the race lead. However, the 13 of Andrew Player being scored your race leader. I don't know what happened there. I think some wave rounds got a little wonky with the good old iRacing as we go battling here side by side. The 8 just slipping free of the 53 machine. 33 of Jess Vaught here as well. Slipping and sliding free on top of it all. Looks like Andrew Player will come on down into the pits to make sure positions end up getting earned correctly here, as the 53 continuing to go to battle here, almost getting entangled up with that 33 of Vaught. 11 of Canella still hanging on. He's got the 19 of Jack Dixon not too far behind him. Same thing with the 14, 81, and the 89. It is a mad helter-skelter dash here at Phoenix to close out this race here tonight. Dylan Brandt very quick here. Oh, as Andrew Cawthon having a big issue out there, gets all spun about right at the entrance of pit road. He's just going to immediately dive right down and in, as George Rincon now going for a wild ride, getting all tangled up. Oh, I think he got tangled up with Greg Klein. Let's see this action as they go 3 wide, 4 wide, coming out of the dogleg. Oh, just nowhere to squeeze as he gets snagged up. Oh, one of Kelly Keel gets in some of that action there as well. So hard contacts out there as they make their way back on the track, and we'll get to see another repeat of it there. Oh, 89 getting squeezed. 19 going up into the outside wall as we saw some 4 wide action down through the dogleg. Always have to be careful in that section of this racetrack. It almost turns itself into a 18 lane super speed highway there, as Larry Dickerson, the milk dud, having some issues. Let's take a check. Oh, he goes hard up into that outside wall. Looked like maybe a wheel disconnection or something, as it sent him flying up into that outside fence, having to take a tow. 7 of Timothy Pope battling side by side with the 99 of Anderson, and they're going to continue to battle side by side out of the exit of turns number 1 and 2. 83 of Jason Gaines having a good time watching that fight in front of him as he waits for his turn to jump back out in front. 89 Craig good enough. Oh my goodness, making use of that dog leg there to save that super loose race car, able to get that thing all back up and collected, and now is going to battle the 99 himself. Meanwhile, the 8 of Dylan Bryant has not yet gotten clean away from the rest of this field. He still has that 33 of Jess Vaught and the 53 of Jeremiah Burke all over that back bumper. Meanwhile, the 99 of Anderson still going at it side by side with the 89. That outside lane, though, so difficult to maintain some speed and maintain some run. He's going to lose that position, and he's now going to be tied on into some action with the 7 of Timothy Pope as they go down and around turns 1 and 2. 29 of Dave Mayberry trying to catch up to that 55 of Ricky Wittenberg, who's trying to help protect his Ain't Dead Yet team member there. The 16 of Kyle Vaught. They're having a good run here as well, just outside of this top 10. Everybody, even the points don't matter, just want to squeeze their way as many positions as they can inside that top 10. And just get a good finish here tonight as the 14 and the 81 almost trading a little bit of paint. Osborne and Eaton having a good battle side by side down and around turns 1 and 2 before heading on down the back straightaway here. KFC trying to deliver all the herbs and spices, whatever secrets they may hold, and put him to work here as he gets a big run down into the dogleg. Oh, but he's not the only one. The 99 of Anderson slips and slide his way on down into the inside wall. Thankfully, didn't look too hard of a contact there for America's driver. He's going to be able to rejoin the racetrack here soon enough, but he's going to have a heck of a lot of work left to do. Oh, man, as right behind Wittenberg there, the 29 of Mayberry almost catches an edge. He's going to be stuck going to battle side by side with the 01 of Kiel out there. As the 14 and the 81 continue to trade positions. Chachi doing a little bit of the crossover. He said, I saw what you did down on that bottom side. Now it's my turn to do that. As they go back to battling side by side. And it's going to remain side by side as they make their way on down the backstretch here. Again, the 8 of Dylan Bryant still hanging on to that race lead as he gets a little snug. Oh, drifting up the track before diving it down into that dog leg. Meanwhile, Osborne and Eaton continuing to battle. That's just allowing the top 3 to try to get away here. Again, I don't know they're going to make it all the way to the very end. I think we're going to see some splash and goes to finish up the race here tonight. We'll have to see who's got their pit strategy all locked up and loaded and ready to go as they play the strategery game here, as the side-by-side action continues to boil over here with the 81 and the 14 still locked into that side-by-side. They've been side-by-side for a couple of laps now. Someone's going to have to give up something eventually. Otherwise, they're losing out on chances to climb up into that podium. 11 of Joseph Canellis has been watching all this action unfold in front of him, as he's now also got the 89 of Craig Goodenough right there just in front of him as well. Meanwhile, 16, 55, 29, and the 83 are all gangled on up here. Looks like the 13 Andrew Player was successful in rejoining the racetrack. However, he is now a lap down as he served some time down there on pit road, as Eaton and Osborne continue to trade positions. We're just going to stick here with some of this race action for the time being, as these drivers put on an amazing show here battling for 4th and 5th. '89 of Goodenough trying to get his nose on up and in there as well. 99 of Anderson rejoining the racetrack after his little extended pit stop down there, and is able to rejoin some of this racing surface, as the 53 of Jeremiah Burke and the 81 Jonathan Osborne, I think playing that strategery game, realizes they possibly could be able to make it here all the way to the end, about 32 laps. And they're going to quickly dive on down and in. I think they also recognize that maybe some clean track space might be what they need here to run some very quick laps. That's the 14. Oh, man. We know he likes to get all loosey-goosey down on those road courses, but he gets super snug. Looks like he's making his dive on down onto pit road. Dylan Bryant, Jess Vaught, Craig Goodenough, Greg Dobson all jumping on down into pit road as well. So the strategic game definitely coming into a work here, as the 11 picks up the race lead. 7 of Timothy Pope right there behind him. 83 of Jason Gaines not too far back, about a second out. He's got the 55, the 16, and the 29 just a little bit behind him here as well, as Darby Marioth being some lap traffic out there right now. That's going to cause some a little bit of issues there with the 7 and the 11 as they go battling side by side. Going 3 wide there for a split second before separating back down to 2 wide. Fantastic side-by-side action continues to rumble on. Oh, the 434 Bob Ross painting the inside pit wall there as he slips and slide his way across the start-finish line. You got the 29 Dave Mayberry still having a good battle out there, trying to catch on up as more and more drivers come on down into pit road, recognizing some of the strategery going on. Kyle Vaught Canellis making the dive on down and in as the 7 of Timothy Pope now picks up the lead as people continue to make some green flag pit stops here early into this run. Gaines Mayberry electing to stay out. Same thing with the 77 of Jacob Young, who last pitted a little bit before the race caution. So we'll see what the 77 elects to do coming up in the next few laps. Meanwhile, the 14 and the 33 locked into a good side-by-side battle right behind the 8 of Dylan Bryant. This could mean the lead for the race here coming up later, or it could mean absolutely nothing. We just got to wait until it all pans on out as the 14 slips and slides his way up underneath Mr. Jess Vaught, and right behind him, oh, Chachi getting a little sideways, but gets the collection back up and underway. I'm sure a lot of these drivers super happy to be back in these old school style of race cars where there's not a whole lot of aids, and definitely not a car that will drive itself. It is definitely a driver's car. It's all based on feel, very limited tuning specs that these drivers can do. Now it's already in a fixed configuration setup as Craig Goodenough runs the fastest lap of the race, a 31:07 on this nicely rubbered in track surface here. Go ahead and just quickly check in and double check our weathers out there. Still beautiful, 78 degrees, track temp 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so it is a perfect temperature for these drivers to go racing as the 7 machine dives on down and in with 25 laps left to go. Still Gaines and Mayberry electing to stay on out. Again, a little bit off cycle here. The 13 of Andrew Player, a couple of laps down, trying to do his best as the 8 and the 33 go getting tangled on up. Oh man. Drivers doing everything in their power to make up whatever positions that they can with the fresh tires that they have as the 89 of Craig Goodenough battles alongside the 81 of Chachi, going side by side down and around turns 1 and 2 before heading on down into that backstretch. Having a good battle. Still going to stay side by side as they enter into turns 3 and 4. And that's going to give the 89 the inside and the inside run here on the dogleg. So he's going to hang on to that 9th place position for the time being as they continue to put in some pretty good laps out there. Kelly Keel making his final round of pit stops. Same thing with the 92 of Greg Klein. Looked like he just came in for a quick little stop and go and made sure everything was a-okay. Meanwhile, 83 of Jason Gaines, he's going to play the waiting game, try to outrun everybody here tonight as the 42 Darby Marriott sits there right behind him. Dave Mayberry kind of on that same thinking. Well, of course, as I say that, here he comes on down into pit road. Andrew Player going to be making that dive down and in on top of it all as well. So it's really just going to be a race here for Gaines, see how much fuel he can save. He's currently got just over a lap and a half on the field, but the longer he stays out, the more fuel he's going to have to take later on and mean a longer pit stop down there. We'll have to see how that all plays on out for him here as everybody continues with their battles pretty much right where they left off. 14 out in front of the 33, who's just out in front of the 7, who's just out in front of the 8. Of course, the 7 of Timothy Pope fighting back from that early incident there in race section number 1. And he's been doing a fantastic job making up positions as he goes, and that's putting him up there inside that top 5 right now. Of course, very difficult to pass the 7 machine. It's always difficult to pass here in general, but let alone the 7 Pope machine as the 8 of Dylan Bryant tries to find a little bit of speed, maybe keep those tires a little bit cool, keep some rubber on them as well to maybe make some last lap passes here, as we got about 19 laps left to go. Jeremiah Burke has the 14 closing in just a little bit. Everything's starting to snug on up, which is what we like to see here for a very close race finish. As the 83 Jason Gaines still with about a 38-second lead, almost 39. Doesn't seem to be waning too much either. He's been able to hold pace. The question is, has he been able to hold pace and save fuel at the same time? I don't think so. I still think we gotta wait. Still gonna have the 83 coming on down and into that pit road to top up on racing fuel at a minimum. Meanwhile, the 19 and the 29 go battling side by side, Mayberry and Dixon. As Mayberry catching an edge, able to get it collected before hitting that inside wall, but will lose a little bit of time because of that. As the 14 does in fact catch up to the 53. 53 I think might be struggling on some older tires here and struggling for a little bit of grip, and that's going to cause a big checkup. Also got some lap traffic there as well, as you got the 11 there, you got the 434 all up into this mix, as here we go, side by side action here between the 14 and the 53 with a whole bunch of chaos ensuing around them. Eaton able to slice and dice his way through all of that traffic and get around the 53 without too much of an issue. Now the 33 of Jess Vaught trying to line up his attack run down towards the inside of the 53. 53 is going to go on a defensive line there and guard the inside, telling the 33, no, you're going to have to pass on the outside if you're going to want any of that to work. As the 11 of Canellis starts to go around, gets checked up, gets saved, and then the 8 starts to go around as they make contact, but he gets the save. So good collection of drivers behind the racing wheel there, as the 434 of Kevin Hunt just saw that Bob Ross light flash before his eyes, as it almost got pretty dirty there. The 33 of Jess Vaught getting a little squirrely out there, able to get it all back up and collected, as the 53 of Jeremiah Burke tries to make another attack run here. Almost making that right side romance. 434 hard down into that inside wall. Oh man, that nose got squished just a little bit extra, as the 53 and the 14 continue to battle side by side. Of course, this is what Jason Gaines wants to see, as the longer these guys are battling side by side, the more time he can save fuel and stay up there, up at the front with 14 laps left to go. .33 of Avant, Jeremiah Burke, and Dustin Eaton all going into it. 3 wide there. It's a 33 found a big run of speed down on the bottom side. 14 slipping and sliding up on the outside lane. Vaught able to steal that position for the time being, but the 14 comes back with a big run on the outside lane. 53 of Jeremiah Burke's going to tuck back into line for the time being to regather himself and regather control of that vehicle. Meanwhile, the 33 going to continue to guard that inside, not allow the 14 to try to make that little crossover move and dive down and cross them up, as they remain side by side with the 14 up there on the outside lane. Darby Marriott still having some issues out there. Dylan Bryant, oh man, you can see there the bits and pieces left by the 42 as the leaders come back down and around him there. You got the 8 and the 7 having a good battle here, so it's still a good 5-way battle here, just inside of this and just outside of that top 5. 89 a good enough, and the 81 of Osborne got to watch a good bit of that action there, as well as they get caught up into some of this action here, as well as a 33 of Vaught making some good moves and steals up back into that second place spot. All right, as Jason Gaines makes his way on down into a pit road, we ride here looking out the back end of the 33 of Vaught. We'll see how quickly Gaines can get down and off of pit road, whether he can hang on to that lead position spot, or if he's going to have to serve a penalty or something there, as he they're gonna have to watch the speed cameras on that one for certain. Some tight racing still being had though by the 14, almost getting into the back of the 33 here, trying to steal that as of right now. Second spot away, and oh no, not getting back out there in time will be the 83 of Gaines. He tried to push it as long as he could, and that's gonna give up the race lead for the time being, as Justvat, Eaton, Pope, Bryant, Burke, Goodenough, and Osborne all battle for this race win, as we got some leaning on each other between the 89 and the 53. It's gonna be hard to distinguish which green paint is which, but they were able to eventually separate for a brief moment as the 89 goes way up high on the racetrack. 14 of Eaton season opening just gets that front bumper down and inside of that 33 as they go ripping around turns 1 and 2 side by side here once again with 9 laps left to go. We go side by side racing with the loose race cars out there battling for this race lead. As everything gets all squeezed up together, 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide out there between Goodenough, Burt, Pope, Bryant. Everybody's still scattering, still 3 wide out there as they go battling around turns 1 and 2, eventually filtering on down into a side-by-side action. The 33 had just fought, escaping free and clear on through because of that. And 53 had Jeremiah Burke able to, for the time being, hang on to that third place spot, but gets driven by the 81 of Jonathan Osborne. No, that nose of the 53 still out in front for a split second there. It's going to be a tight fight to end up onto this podium here tonight as the 87, 89, 81 continue to go after it here with the 33 and the 14 just kind of tucking in a single file just up in front of them. The side-by-side action continues to boil on here. Eaton trying to figure out a way to get back around that 33 of Avant. Meanwhile, Burke hanging on to that third place spot over the 81 of Osborne for the time being as well, but 89, 7, 8 all tangled on up in it as well. And don't count out the 83 of Jason Gaines. He's about 3 seconds back, but he's one of your freshest pitters out there. Got one of the fullest fuel tanks, and he's going to try to run up and catch these drivers as they continue to battle side by side. Of course, you never know what's going to happen in these closing laps. Of course, no cautions here tonight other than the stage breaks, so we won't see a caution get everybody tangled back on up, but we don't need that right now for certain as the 81 and the 89 go battling side by side, and Timothy Pope and Dylan Bryant get tangled up as the 7 goes for the crossover move, with the 89 basically doing the same mirror image up there just in front of them down into the dogleg. Here comes that 53 of Jeremiah Burke. He sees an opening to get that nose up underneath the 14 of Dustin with a Y. As the 33 gets a little bump and a little help and gets all spun about. 33 of Vaught gets taken about from the race lead. That's going to give the race lead now to the 14 of Eaton, who's got a little bit of an opening. The 53 of Jeremiah Burke gonna have to say some Hail Marys and some penances after that one as he gets lost by a couple of positions there. 89 of Goodenough and Osborne all squeaked on by. And still trading a little bit of paint. The 89 and the 53 lean in on each other for a little extra date night right side romance there. As the 7 of Timothy Pope grabs a piece of the outside while Dylan Bryant there to watch all the action unfold right in front of them as they get together again. The 89 and the 53 with 2 laps left to go now. Eaton and Osborne up into the race lead. The battle right now is for third here between the 89 and 53. 7 Timothy Pope and Dylan Bryant still right there to pick up the pieces if any are left. after the final few battles that we've been seeing out there out in front. As here we go, turning down and around, turns 3 and 4, one more time we go. White flag is out. This will be it, your final lap of action here tonight, as the 14 nice and free and clear. Meanwhile, the 89 getting hard contact there with the 53. That's going to allow the 7 of Timothy Pope to try to sneak his way on up and through and steal a podium position here. He's going to juke, jive, and dive his way down and around. Oh, it's a 53 gets spun across the 8's front bumper. Meanwhile, up here, up at the front, the 14 orangutan, Dustin with a Y, Dustin Eaton picking up your race win. Jonathan Osborne coming home in second with the 89 of Craig Goodenough, just good enough to get away on the podium. A fantastic high-flying action last couple of laps here tonight, and this is why we love the old school Saturday night under the light style of racing, because you never know what you're gonna get, and that is exactly what we got here tonight to close out this race. I also have to say, looks like tentatively congratulations to Dylan Brandt, Timothy Pope, Jason Gaines, Jeremiah Burke, Jess Vaught, Ricky Wittenberg, and young Kyle Vaught all squeezing up into that top 10. That's the 14. Looks like he's trying to get an 11 down or something like that. That's the 01 of Kelly. 01 of Kelly Keel gets into the 16 machine just a little bit. And thank you, Rhett Arnell. That was indeed fun to watch, especially turning up that heat on those final few laps. Analea Tovar out there saying, yeah, way to go. Cheering on that 14 of Dustin with a Y. As looks like we will have the 11 machine of Mr. Joseph Canellis as your spotlight driver of the evening. So let's go ahead and get some of these driver interviews up and underway as we go ahead and talk to the 11 machine, Mr. Joe Canellis, picking up a solid, almost top 15 there in coming home in 16th, but up 12 on the night, having a fantastic run out there. Absolutely love seeing these old cars return to the racetrack here tonight, Joe. It was a fantastic show to watch, but it looked like they were kind of tricky out there, like they could pop out loose at any time. They could get snug and go out to the wall at any time. It was definitely you had to be all hands on deck driving these things.
Yeah, they definitely got a loose back end, but loose is fast. They're a lot of fun to drive.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it during the race out there. Was it kind of difficult to make passes when there was a lot of traffic around you? Because it looked like the kind of key to making some passes was just getting that nose up underneath somebody there going into that dog leg, so you kind of had the run going down into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, it was tricky. If you could get down low and drive off the low side of that, you could get around somebody. But the high side, they could hang up there with you and make it difficult on you. That's for sure.
Well, man, you did a fantastic job here tonight. Actually, let me just double check my look here. And in fact, you are tied for the Hard Charger of the Day award. So congratulations for that. But you're the spotlight driver here this evening, man. Congratulations. Before we let you go, got any final shout outs or anything like that?
Yeah, first and foremost, just want to thank my wife, Tracy, for giving me the time to do this. Thank the All-Star Racing team for, one, inviting me on there, and two, for making me feel at home. Great bunch of guys there, great bunch of guys in this league. Like to thank Fizz and Glitz, my sponsor, and also shout out to the Cagle family, Red's Cagle. That's the car I'm driving tonight from back in the 60s and 70s.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations. Your spotlight driver of the day, the 11 of Joseph Canellis. Hope you enjoyed this Olympic break, my friend, and good luck when the regular season returns coming up here next week, buddy.
We'll see you in Richmond. Thank you.
And with that, we will jump on up to our first step of the podium and talk to tonight's third place finisher. It's going to be the driver just good enough to get onto that podium, Mr. Craig Goodenough in that 89 machine. Fighting and fighting and fighting in that final stint out there. Craig, congratulations. Man, this is one of those races, and I'm not really, pretty honest with my opinions about oval racing. I'm not really an oval racing guy, but this looked like a race that I wanted to get into, man. It looked like it was so much fun out there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was white knuckle from that last pit stop. I mean, we were just going. And then thankfully me and Osborne just kind of singled out because we knew the front would start racing and they'd start coming back to us, and it worked out perfectly into our favor.
Yeah, it looked like it was also kind of difficult to pass out there, especially when you got around people that either are running around the same pace or maybe trying to steal your line away from you. In those last few laps, it kind of looked like maybe diving that nose down early into the dogleg might have gotten you a little bit of that run that you needed to try to steal that inside away.
Yeah, I found that a little earlier. I figured I was one of the lowest that was going down far in there and still making that next turn work. I don't think I used the original part of the racetrack at all in that entire 150 laps. So that definitely helped a lot. And then a 2-tire stop at the end with just 2 gallons of fuel helped a ton.
Yeah, and that definitely saw some strategy come into play there as well, man. Well, congratulations getting on up into that podium. Before I let you go, got any final shout outs or anything like that?
Yeah, first off, shout out to the wife for always putting up with me doing this Monday and Wednesdays, because I don't ever eat dinner till super late, but she makes it and I warm it up, so that's awesome. And then of course Jordan, Jess and Lori for putting this on, and you guys for broadcasting it. And then the neighbor that's always watching, Rhett, and Bruce that's always watching, and the old man that's watching, and of course Team Tang. We got 1 and 3 today, so it's always a solid.
Yeah, that indeed it is, man. Well, congratulations getting that third place podium spot here tonight to close out the Olympics week. Looking forward to seeing you guys back out there in action at Richmond coming up next week, and good luck with the rest of the season here, buddy.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep this momentum rolling from the Olympics break. I've been won a few, got a bunch of top podiums, so hopefully we can roll it into Richmond. We'll see you then. Thank you.
With that, we'll move on up to the next step of the podium. It's going to be the Chachi himself doing the cha-cha slide up into a second place here tonight. Jonathan, congratulations on the fantastic second place finish here. Looked like a heck of a lot of fun up there, especially battling within those, we'll call it the final 50 laps there after that last stage break.
Yeah, that was brutal. I've never raced so hard in my life. And then there at the end, I didn't realize that that group of cars that I was gaining on was the leaders. And with like 15 laps to go, I got really excited. I was like, "Oh, that's the leaders," and had a shot at it. And when Jess and Bert got into it, I was licking my chops, ready to get to them. If I could have got to eat, and I'd have gave them the chrome horn tonight.
Yeah, well, with these old cars, I mean that's one of the ways to get her done. And I mean, we saw it, we talked with Goodenough here just before he's like, hey, once when me and Osborne kind of single filed out, we were catching the leaders pretty good and just kind of going for the ride, seeing all the action going on in front of them. Did you think something like excuse me, when Burke and Vaught got all collected up together was gonna happen, or was it just something that it happened and you kind of just took the opportunity to pounce?
Oh no, I was waiting for them to do that. I seen when Burke went all the way down there on the apron in 1 and 2. I knew he was gonna start pressing the issue pretty hard, knowing Burke, and I was just waiting it out really, because I don't think I was gonna catch him with the time I had. But yeah, Burke really did a solid there.
Well, you did pretty solid out there yourself there, my friend, as the 81 of Jonathan Osborne picking up the second place finish here tonight, man. Before I let you go, got any final shout outs or anything like that?
Yeah, I'd like to shout you guys out, Lori and Jess with Vigilante, all the drivers, my sponsors, Larry Donahue with Daystar Screens and Indecisive Chaos, and Josh Bittner with trackdogsracing.com/net. My all my family wouldn't be able to do it without all you guys, so this is really cool.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations to the 81 of Jonathan Osborne. Great job finishing up this Olympic series, and can't wait to see you guys back out there in action, and good luck coming up next week over at Richmond, buddy.
Thank you, man. Hopefully we can back up the win at Richmond next week.
And with that, we close out the interviews with your race winner who raced his way up through a whole bunch of chaos only like an orangutan could. It is the 14 of Dustin with a Y, Dustin Eaton, picking up that race win, man. Congratulations. I've said it at least once, maybe twice now, but this definitely looked like a race that I wanted to be in. It looked like it was a heck of a lot of fun going to these old cars, racing at this kind of tricky little triangle track here at Phoenix. A little bit of everything coming into play, a little strategery, a good old bunch of hard nose, just knockout, drag out racing. Oh man, it looked like you had a blast out there.
Man, that was so fun at the end. It started off not so great, got taken out like coming across the start finish and had to race my way back up. Luckily, we got those laps back. But yeah, man, that was an absolute blast. That last little stint there, me, Jess, Burke, I think there's quite a few heavy hitters up there. And we were definitely getting at it, doing a little bumping, banging. And, Burke, unfortunately, he got knocked back a little bit when he went down to the apron and stuff. But guys were, using a bunch of different lines, staying fast. Not anyone was really better than the other. So, I mean, yeah, when you get these cars like this, man, I love these street stocks. You get to bump and bang without absolutely killing yourself every single time. Now, definitely does happen, but all in all, very, very fun race, man.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I mentioned through at some point in the broadcast is, man, these cars, these are drivers' cars. There's not a whole lot. Again, you guys are already racing, fixed setups and all that kind of stuff. But there's not a whole lot you can change in these things. It's what you get is what you got, and you got to figure out your way around it. There's only so much power that these things can deliver to those rear wheels. There's only so much grip those rear wheels have, especially at some of the slicker surfaces here at this course. How were you able to kind of manage that? Because you had marbles up on the outside, a deadly transition line there for the dogleg that sent you bouncing and bounding down through the dogleg. How was it trying to kind of keep that thing on all four wheels pointed in the right direction?
I mean, at times, especially on like fresh fuel, you feel like you're driving a '72 Cadillac out here. Dang near a boat coming through some of this stuff, and those back tires are taking a lot of stress. So as soon as you kind of go overboard, that tail end wants to kick out on you. You're really bad, and especially when you're transitioning through the dog leg there. The turn is very deceiving coming through what is that, 3, I guess. It's a lot wider than people think. So a lot of guys I saw were kind of trying to run it narrow and aim it down towards the line as fast as they could, and they were kicking and losing traction. Gained a little bit of time there a couple times, but yeah, man, this thing is definitely a beast of its own. Ever since they did the update and put the new cars in, I love racing these new ones. They sound great. It again, it's definitely like more or less driving a boat. When you get up next to guys, you got to kind of expect that body sway and give them as much room as you can, and and they don't want to stop for nothing. So yeah, it's a fine line you're racing the whole time.
Yeah, man, and it was definitely a race the whole time, indeed. As your race winner, the 14 of Dustin with a Y, Dustin Eaton, comes away victorious here tonight. Before I let you go here, Dustin, you got any final shout-outs?
Man, I heard wifey when the fellas unfortunately wrecked. I heard her out there screaming. So shout out number one wifey. She knew what was going on before even I did. Jess and Burke, that was great racing at the end. It's unfortunate that they kind of tapped each other, kind of reminiscent of a championship I was once in with those guys. And also, Team Tang, they raced great, and you for being here, man. I definitely appreciate you showing this stuff out there. Can't wait to go back and watch it.
Absolutely, man. Well, big congratulations again to the 14 of Dustin with a Y. Dustin Eaton, the orangutan himself, picking up the race win, man. Congratulations. Can't wait to see you guys back out here in action, and good luck as we return to the regular season here, buddy.
Thanks, Alan. Have a good night, man.
Oh, man. Oh, man. And with that, we close out all the amazing race and action that we had here this evening, and it was some amazing action indeed. Let's just not waste any time here, and just let everybody know where their favorite driver did eventually end up here tonight with that 14 of Dustin with a Y. Picking up the race win with the 81 Jonathan Osborne right there behind him in second, and rounding out that podium, the 89 of Craig Goodenough with a great run out there as well. 8 of Dylan Bryant led a good chunk of the laps out here tonight and secures himself a solid top 5 finish. Same thing with the 7 of Timothy Pope, who fought back after having some carnage there in the first stint, but was able to claw his way all the way back for that fantastic top 5 finish. 83 of Jason Gaines was hoping that he could outlast and play the survivor game out there, but just coming up short there at the end, but a solid 6th place finish there for him. 53 of Jeremiah Burke as well, just getting tangled up in those closing laps with the 33 of Jess Vaught as they finished 7th and 8th. 33 Jess Vaught with quite a few laps led there as well. Ricky Wittenberg with a fantastic race here tonight. I know he loves the old school style racing these machines have out there, finishing in 9th. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be the young Vaught, Mr. Kyle Vaught, surviving some attacks there from Uncle Dave and sneaking his way on up that leaderboard. Your America's driver, Albert Anderson in the 99 machine, finishing out here in 11th. Going to have the 085 of Greg Dobson with a great run as well, finishing up there in 12th. Tied for hard charger of the day, the 29 of Uncle Dave Mayberry, up 12 spots on the day to take away 13th. Very good run there. Unfortunate day there for the 19 of Jack Dixon. Got tangled up in quite a few messes, down 10 spots, but still a top half of the field finish there for him up there in 14th. 15th goes to the 28 of George Rincon, pretty much finishing right where he started off here tonight, so not too bad. The 11 of Joseph Canellis, your spotlight driver of the day, up 12, also tied for that hard charger of the day. Able to come on home here in 16th. 77 of Jacob Young, the mustache, trying to make a reappearance here tonight, finishes in 17th. 18th will go to the 13 of Andrew Player, who had some bad luck of his own and spent some long times down there in pit road, but does eventually find his way back out onto the racetrack for 18th. 19th will go to the 69 of the Milk Dud, having a little bit of a rough time out there, of Larry Dickerson. 01 Kelly Keel finds his way on home into a top 20 finish. 434 Kevin Hunt comes on home in the 21st spot. 42 Darby Marioth had a really rough time out there tonight, but still had a whole bunch of fun to finish in 22nd. 92 of Greg Klein with a little bit of a not so Greg Klein night, finishing there in 23rd. 10 of Andrew Cawthon did some bumping and banging himself, saw him in a whole bunch of battles with the 74 of Zachary Hallinan. They're both going to finish 24th and 25th. Early disconnection nights for the 68 of Dustin with an I, Dustin Wade, 4 of Dion Jones, and the 23 of Sean McDonald to round out your field there for 26th, 27th, and 28th. And of course, as always, a big thank you to the ever wonderful Miss Lori Vaught for the fantastic race and all that stuff that she does behind the scenes. So with that, we also have to say a huge thank you to the proud sponsors of the VRL, such as GC Cruise Travel, Blue Fox Properties and Dave Mayberry, D&D Race Graphics, and Southbound Real Estate with Mr. Ricky Wittenberg. Thank you all for your fantastic support week in and week out to help aid the VRL to put on the amazing show week in and week out like they always do. So big time thank you for for doing that. Oh man, well with that I am going to go and not talk for basically the rest of the week until we return to action on Monday, where we are going to see the Numb Thumbs Racing League Xfinity Series return back to action. I forget where they're going. I think, let me double check here because I have the schedule. Well, we're going to Auto Club. Oh, we always love us some good old Auto Club. A 90-lap night race there. Should be some absolute fun. And can't wait to see you all then. But until then, though, I'm Alan Brown. And thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, so that way you get alerted every time we go live. Of course, hit that thumbs up button so you get, we grow this community because you guys are awesome. And so, yeah. So with that, we are actually signing off. See you guys on the next one.